WRHU 88.7. You are tuning into The Aggressive Edge. It is your host, Chris, and I am joined by the legendary, from New York, from Brooklyn to be exact, ANAKA.
That's right. What's up,
guys.
man? How you doing?
The legend.
Thanks for the invitation, man.
The legend continues.
The legend continues. You're right, Pete. The legend continues.
What's up, guys?
First of all, let me say, it was a pleasure to go see you guys Saturday. It was amazing. It felt like such an intimate show, only because we've been talking before, but like being there with family and stuff, I was like, what am I doing here, you know? But then I see you guys play, I see you guys rock out, the headbanging, the tone of the guitars, the drums. I was just like, man, I feel like I'm actually supposed to be here, you know?
That's because you were supposed to be. You're part of the family now, man. That's it. You've been adopted.
You know, we talk about this ANAKA Army thing, and we've been building that for 24 years now. And, you know, it's a very real thing. And you're one of the newest members. And, you know, it's awesome because we have, you know, our brotherhood goes further than just the people who play in the band, you know. So it's one of those situations where we are the people who support us, they are us. That's a very real thing, and I think that's what you're talking about. You saw our families there, and you saw people there that were there because they love the band. And, you know, Saturday, July the 27th at Gramercy Theater, you're going to see more of that.
I am very glad. I can't wait. I can't wait to see more of ANAKA, see what you guys have more. So let's talk about the Oblivion Call, your recent album. When I first heard it, I was like, who are these people? Like, what is this? Why haven't I met you guys earlier? Why haven't I've seen you guys earlier? Tell me about it. Tell me about the Oblivion Call.
Well, we're from a planet far, far away.
That's it, very far.
And that's why it sounds like that. Actually, another dimension.
It's out of this world.
But, yeah, I mean, it's really album number 6 in a 24-year history of, you know, rolling through and smashing through boundaries and, you know, doing some pretty amazing things. You know, when you look back at the beginning up until now, you know, I started as a 3-piece, added Jimmy, my brother, and the only person that was going to be singing the vocals, you know, other than me. And you know, you move through, and Matt came on board, and it's been like amazing having Matt. He's like my guitar brother. You know, we our guitar duels on the record and everything, and just mixing our riffs and the way that's come to be and all of that and all these years. And, you know, to look back and realize that we've played with Korn, Avenged Sevenfold, and Trivium, Shadows Fall. Five Finger Death Punch, Zakk Wylde, which, you know, was tremendous, you know, at Starland Ballroom. And we've done all these awesome things, and it really comes from doing the work and believing and never taking any shortcuts, you know?
I agree. I very much agree. I like I said, it's the album itself. Like I've listened to your other works prior to the Oblivion Call. Specifically, I forgot the name of the album, but you guys released in 2015. My favorite song from you guys.
Unwavering,
yeah. Shotguns and Whiskey.
Oh, great song.
Favorite song.
Yeah,
I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, not only were the guitars melodic, not only did you guys have amazing solos, but the vocals and everything was just blew me away. It was amazing.
We were just talking about, it was funny you just brought that song up. Me and my brother were driving in together, and we were just talking about like just random conversation about stuff. And I go, a great song on this album was Shotguns and Whiskey. It's funny, you just like read my mind, because when we were recording that song, when we wrote that song, there was always like such a tone to it, and like when we recorded it, we really captured it. So there was little conversations we have about the material we've created. It's always great to go back and just kind of like reminisce a little bit about it. So I'm glad you brought it up.
No, yeah, it's like you guys have your new stuff, but at the same time, like how can you look at the new stuff without looking at the prior stuff? You know,
right.
It was like I said. I've only listened to not only just the new album, but I've been looking to tracks here and there from your other works, your prior albums, and it hasn't disappointed me yet. It hasn't
disappointed us either.
Yeah.
It's been an evolution, man.
Yeah,
and when you listen to, you know, to the Oblivion Call, you hear all the other stuff up until this point in there, plus a few steps forward, and that's what every record has always been, you know. Different than a lot of other bands. You know, a lot of other bands start really heavy, nasty, and, you know, savage.
Yeah.
And we literally, if you go back to the beginning, kind of started in a place that there was so much to say in the lyrics, and it was a hard rock, heavy metal record, that first Down Devil's Road record. And it naturally evolved and grew from there and became more intense as we went. So it was never about doing it any certain way other than kind of building on what we did before, but also not trying to please anybody else, just us.
Just us.
And for this new record, you know, we were proud to have our brother Jordan Bonaccia join the band and
my baby, my newborn mother.
You know, create this beast. And you know, the cool thing about it is that when you're in a band for as long as we are, you know, the members that were there on bass and drums before, they were there for 17 years. So when Jordan joined, me, Matt, and Jim talked about it, and it became about having our longtime producer, the Jerry Farley, play bass on the record. Because again, it's all about family, like you said. And he has been on many of the other records in some form or another. He's been our producer right from the beginning. So it was one of those situations where we're like, okay, we got our new drummer. We want you to do the bass. And he was like, definitely, I'm doing it. So to, you know, make a long story short, the cool thing about it is the chemistry that was created, like with this kind of new version of the band. I would say newer version, because, you know, the three main guys that have been in the band for years were in it still. But to add Jordan, you know, and his very first album and the training like Rocky that he had to go through.
It's like becoming an astronaut.
No, I mean, literally, what he's talking about is real. You know, we had to like kind of get to a point where amazing drummer that walked in, but he just kind of had to learn how to get his ANAKA muscles going, you know, and he did. He really did. And the album is just such an amazing example of what you can do, what Jordan did, just putting his mind to it. And we can talk about those 4 days of, you know, recording drums and tracking drums and how Jordan had to step up, and he did it, man.
He did a great job.
Yeah,
and like for him, being that it was his first record, you know, for him understand, like I remember doing my first album. I've only been in one band, it's been this band, right? So like I remember the first time I recorded something. In the beginning, it's kind of weird, you know, if you don't really know the experience of recording an album. The headphones feel like you have like an anvil on your head. There's all these weird feelings, and you have to understand how to be creative and also lock into what you do live, right? But I was very proud of him, you know. The beginning, he was kind of like, this is different to me. And then all of a sudden, when he locked in, he just went flying, took off. And there's nothing more magical than seeing someone flow musically and get all of that difficult playing. If you listen to the Oblivion Call record, you can hear the playing. Every member from Jerry Farley, Matt, Pete, and Jordan, all of us locked in, and myself vocally, all of us locked in, and we're the ultimate versions of ourselves on this record, especially because this was being done. He recorded his drums literally months before lockdown. So we didn't know that COVID was about to explode all over the place, right? So we got the drums done in November, I believe. And all of a sudden, right from there, where drum editing was starting, before they can start bass tracking, everything shut down. So that whole time recording the album after that, it's like the name of the album is like so fitting because there was so much chaos going on.
At that time, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm very proud of everybody and the work they did. So it's like a perfect way to celebrate over 20 years of being a band, you know? So that's how I perceive and see this record, is kind of more of a celebration of the band, you know?
I agree. I feel like that's every musician's dream, though. As like I play guitar. I have a really nice setup in my house.
Cool.
And I feel like that's everybody's dream, like being on an actual album, you know, playing with like a nice, like a band that's been together for so long. I feel like that's I applaud you, and I applaud you for that. Honestly, it sounds beautiful. But let's get to the music now. Let's get to the first song off the album. Tell me about Voice of the Faceless. What is this one? What does this one mean to you guys?
So this one, early on in the process, we did the Unwavering, and while we were, playing live and just kind of doing what we always do with these songs, this one, started to manifest, in rehearsals. And I remember, just having this really cool, crazy riff and like the verse riff. And then I turned to Matt and I go, Matt, I need a bridge for this. And Matt had the exact bridge. I mean, that's how easily it came together. Jimmy started doing his thing vocally, and, we put the lyrics together for it. And it was just such a mean tune. And it's really awesome because I think as a band, what we do is we really honor the musicians and the bands that inspired us. For us, we really wear it on our sleeve, and we like honor that. And you could really hear the Slayer vibe in this thing.
Yeah.
But you could also hear the Black Sabbath vibe in the middle. The Pantera vibe sometimes on the vocals. So all of that is purposefully, engaged. It's not forced, but it's like we love to kind of like visit these places musically. So that's what I hear with this song. It's just I go back to the beginning and kind of the reminder of how it started.
Back
this
to your
whole
roots,
this
back
whole
to your
record.
roots,
Another really cool thing about what Pete just said is like he turns to Matt and he says, "I need a bridge," and like within like a heartbeat, Matt just like out of the universe just pulls out of this monster riff, right? That's like another example of like what it means to have chemistry as a band.
Yeah.
And like I will always say this, I remember Matt's first audition when he first came to try out years ago. And he walked in, he had a beautiful Jackson, Randy Rhoads Jackson. And I remember he walked in, he goes, I get to play through this. He had like this huge stack. And it was amazing because, Matt's from France, and I basically made a brother that day. And like, there's something very special about creating music with someone. You establish a bond and then you grow together as human beings, right? But every time I hear Matt play something, I just stare at his hands and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Because I can't do that. Then Matt tells me, yeah, but you can sing. I can't do that. So it's a magical bond. And I love Matt. He's like, I love him like a brother, and the rest of the guys. But it's something very special about hearing my brother and Matt write like songs when it comes to the riffs. So Matt, what do you think about the middle riff that you came up with? Do you remember what you had in your mind when you wrote that, or?
I mean, you always have those riffs, recorded on your phone or in your head that sometimes I hear Pete like play something, and I will, try to, and I come up with one of those riffs that I had already, or just something that would simply match. Yeah, I think it's all about chemistry, as you say.
Yeah.
I mean, we all listen, to the same bands. We all have that common background, but we also have our own like sort of specialties, if I may. I'm from Europe. I grew up with the melodic death metal, like Children of Bodom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm always trying to push to bring that fast and melodic kind of things to the songs, and these guys, very much do Black Sabbath, as Pete mentioned.
Yeah.
So we will bring our own flavor of metal.
It's a perfect meld.
Exactly. So
It
we're
is,
melting
yeah.
all of this together, and this album particularly has been very much a mix of all of us, bringing things to the table, and the best songs on the album are the ones where really everything comes together, by just we practice, often we play the song continuously, and we were just building the songs like that, we adding and changing things a little bit until you get something that's really that sounds that we all like, that sounds amazing, and that's very much how most of the songs have been written.
We let them happen, and that's like kind of the powerful aspect of like what we do as a band, and that's like something that's really like important when you look at this, you know, experiencing this for 24 years. I know that it's not just some given simple thing that we can do seamlessly, you know, what we do. Like we go through genres. We might go through 4 genres in a song and not even realize it, you know, and it's absolutely seamless. And it's like when you look back at that, talking about like a legacy and something that we've created for 24 years, that's like a stamp, man, that like, you know, you'll hear bands do what they do and like, you know, you can identify that band and that band is awesome. But to understand like identifying a band that do all these different things,
very versatile,
that are versatile, but at the same time maintain that defining groove that you know what you're listening to, you know, that's rare. That's a rarity.
And I will say, as a vocalist who's constantly trying to keep, you know, adding to my repertoire, I'm very lucky because I get to play with people who like think that way. Like we don't write stuff because we want to sound a certain way. It just naturally just becomes the song. Like I was saying this before, I believe in multiple interviews, I've said, the song asks for what it needs to be. You know, once you start cramming things, you can kill it, right? So I get to like sing to the stuff that's being created, and it forces me to keep thinking like, maybe I can do this stylistically, maybe I can do that. You know, I get kind of bored when I hear something with a vocalist who only does like one-dimensional, like monotone boredom stuff. Like if you just keep sounding one way and you're not pushing yourself to find other avenues to express your sound, I get bored with that. So I get to do that because I love Black Sabbath, I love death metal, I love everything that like guitar-oriented music or anything with a piano in it sounds great to me. So I get to do all of that with these guys. So for me, it's like, this is the perfect spot for me. I get to do whatever I want musically, and the guys in the band just get to play it all for me. It's great. Like, the best karaoke of all time, you know?
Like, Jordan, you, like, in the process of, like, recording it and choosing what you know, the kind of the styles that you chose, you had to go through that process. Like, what was that like for you?
It was a ton of work with Jerry Farley, and his absolute like necessity for and demand for excellence was something that just changed me as a person and was one of the greatest experiences I've ever gone through. But like talking to him about music as I was learning these songs and writing them with the band, he was like, okay, well, you're into every drummer ever, so I'm gonna call you out for that stuff. And those 4 or 5 days, almost lost a finger. Like, was one of the most intensive recording sessions I've ever had. I mean, like, I want to say maybe 8,000 calories were gone a day out of sweat.
I think it was like 150 takes or something like this.
It was amazing. It was one of the greatest experiences, and just cultivating different, like, hearing Matt's love of that melodic death metal, which I also love. I grew up on Children of Bodom and Opeth, and like, I love that side of music. I also love my Pantera and Sabbath. I love my Lamb of God. I love my Smashing Pumpkins. I also love jazz and Latin jazz and my fusion music.
I feel like a lot of
samba music. Drummers got to know everything.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of musicians are very much into like jazz and, like you said yourself, samba and stuff.
And I even love my hip hop. Like, you hear some hip hop beats on this record where it's just like, like to let it breathe a little bit, let the other guy shine for half a second. Before they're like, we want that fast again. I'm like, okay. And go. So it was an experience that like absolutely changed me as a person, and I wouldn't like change it for the world. And I got like not only 4 big brothers, but the Jerry Farley 5 big brothers out of the process. An actual, like you said before, an actual album with an established band, and it was so intimidating at first. And then after just being around them for so long, I was like, well, these are like my big brothers. Like, this is, it felt so natural, and it just created a chemistry that you hear very clearly on the album. Well,
per your shirt, I can definitely say I see a Joey Jordison in you. Yeah. I can definitely say I see a Joey Jordison in you.
What a compliment. Thank you.
So we had like mentioned that, you know, Jerry was on the record, and he did an amazing job. Here with us today is our brother, Jeff Hines, and he is the bass player of ANAKA
Yep.
now. So he's playing all the shows and everything, and he is somebody that we've known for a very, very long time, and he's been actually an ANAKA Army member for forever, and was the only guy that me and Jimmy and Matt thought of when it came to who was going to replace Jerry. Jerry was doing his thing. Jerry is part of the team. Jerry is one of us. Jerry is this is like a team. There's like 7 guys. Jeff is one of the starters now, right? So there was some health issues in Jerry's family, so we had to get somebody to actually play bass, right? And we knew exactly who it was going to be. So the awesome thing now is Jeff is in the mix, helping us do this live thing. He's at all the rehearsals. He's in the band doing his own thing, and it's cool to have that, kind of connection to Jeff, because I've known him for so long, and I will tell you that he was one of the people we always thought should play bass in the band, and we're talking years back. So Jeff, what do you think, man?
Well, I've known these guys for about 15 years now. When I came on to the local metal scene, and just seeing them live, first off, it blew my mind. As I'm sure when you saw us live, it was just what is this? I need more of this. I was exactly like that. Hearing things that, and not only just hearing it, just feeling it as well. It felt not only genuine, but it's just so powerful. But what's really cool is that I've gotten the chance to befriend everybody in ANAKA for just as long. And it was just, it's a blessing in disguise. And now just going from being a fan to being a friend to now being part of this, it meant the world to me. The fact that they trusted me enough to bring me in. I mean, I remember the day when I got the call. I was setting up my office, and I had just put everything down. I just kind of looked at everything and said, okay, let's get to work. And the moment I said that, I got a phone call from Pete explaining everything, which led me into the situation right now. And honestly, I'm so happy I picked up that call, because just so much has happened in the last, 2 years now?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years, man.
Yeah. It goes by so quick, because it's been so fun. It's just been an exhilarating ride, and I wouldn't change anything about it. And just like what Jordan said, I now have much more of a connection with you guys, but I also see you guys as my family. Mm-hmm. And especially Jordan, I now see you as my brother as well. So it's just, I love you too.
I remember seeing Jeff play bass, and Jeff had hair down to his freaking ankles, and he's got real blonde hair. Yeah. And I remember seeing him when he was a kid. We've been around for 25 years, so seeing him 15, whatever it was, years ago, and saying that kid's awesome on stage. He looks great, And it's amazing. Fast forward, the relationships or the bonds you make unbeknownst to you through your performance adds a member later on, right? And he knew us musically and our reputation in New York and stuff, and and then he comes into our family and he realizes, these people are not only musicians, but they're family men, and they're freaking, we want to bring people together, and now that he's part of it, he understands it. We're happy to have him. He's a great guy.
No, yeah, I can definitely say as well, I see a Cliff Burton in you.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
Wow.
Yeah,
So much
I can
for that.
definitely see a Cliff Burton in you. Not
With
only the
flowing
hair,
blonde hair.
but the bass playing as well. Exquisite.
Thank you.
No, but yeah. So, voice of the faceless. Excuse me, voice of the faceless. We are going to now play it. So here's Voice of the Faceless, only on 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University. WRHU 88.7. You just heard Voice of the Faceless, and we are back here with ANAKA. Say hello.
Yes,
Say
you
hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Hofstra rocks.
Yes, sir. Hofstra does rock. So we spoke about the record. Now I wanted to talk about you specifically, the guitarists. ESP. Tell me, how does that happen?
ESP happened a long time ago. You know when it happened?
When did it happen?
When I saw the video for One
Oh.
and Metallica when I was a
yep.
kid, and I was watching that video, and they had those white,
White, yeah,
you know,
S-type,
James
yeah,
had that white
yeah,
Explorer, and they
yeah.
had those killer
yeah.
white guitars.
Yeah.
And literally, that's when ESP happened. Because I remember thinking, man, imagine one day owning one of those. It would be so incredible,
Yep.
you know? And now all these years later, me and Matt are endorsed by ESP Guitars. And we're actually something that we're very proud of because we're both huge fans of ESP Guitars. We both have incredible collections. He's got a lot of the Hetfield Explorers that
Yeah.
he's collected
Yep.
over the years. But yeah, you know, ESP, there's just none higher. We're also endorsed by EMG Pickups.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I've saw that
And
as
we're
well,
also endorsed by KHDK Electronics, which is another just incredible innovative company. It's Kirk Hammett's
Yep.
guitar pedal company.
Yep.
And that's great. Jordan's also endorsed by A-Media Drums and Collision Drumsticks. And so when did it happen? It happened back then when I started dreaming about it.
Yep.
You know,
it starts with a dream.
and the thing about a dream is that so many dream, but the idea is to put the work to it.
Yep. That's
And
I
you
agree.
must understand this is a very real thing. If you put the work to it and you're real about it and you're not skipping any steps, sky's the limit. But yeah, that video, man, that video did it.
I can agree.
So like,
Yep.
I go back and see, that's probably why the ESPs that we play for me are white,
Yeah, are
because
white, 'cause
I
of the
love
one,
the
yep.
white guitars.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's a really awesome thing to be endorsed by them.
No, yeah, I agree. Once you said One, I was like, okay, now I see it.
Matt, why did you fall in love with the ESPs?
Oh my God, yeah,
Probably the same reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually a story about it. It's like I think I had like a Gibson Explorer because they had that reissue
Yeah.
white guitar.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Gibson Explorers, they're like monsters, right? They're
Yeah.
like, they
Mhm.
fight
Yeah.
back. They're
Yeah.
like rhythm monsters, right?
Yeah.
And one day I was like, I need to try what's like an ESP, right?
Yeah.
ESP
See what the hype's
Explorer.
about. Yeah.
So I was browsing Craigslist and all that, and I found this guy in Queens that had a black ESP, the real deal, you know, the one from the was it 90s?
Yeah, the
Early
Black
90s?
Album.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Black Album
The
one.
Black Album.
Black
yeah.
Album,
So
okay.
I was like, oh my God, and I had to try it. So I went to the guy's place, and it was right there on his bed, like covered in dust and strings all rusty. But I saw it right away. That was the real
Yeah.
deal, not a
You fell in
fake.
love with
His
it
heart
like
was
that.
palpitating.
I
Yeah.
started playing it, but it didn't feel, it was like so dirty and shit. But you could tell right away it was like that guitar was a monster.
Yeah.
So-
He rescued it.
Yeah, he
Rescued
rescued
it.
it. Yeah.
It was a
brought
rescue
home,
guitar, yep.
cleaned it up, give it like a deep clean,
Yeah.
changed the string, started playing. I was like, oh my! I was blown away, man.
Absolutely
To this
incredible.
day, that guitar is still like my guitar
It's
of
on the
choice.
album, right?
Yeah,
it's on the album.
that's
it's on
that,
every album.
He
It's like-
records when he records. I get to watch him play that thing, and I'm mesmerized by that. The guitars are just gorgeous. Like ESP, as a vocalist, I know what they're talking about because when I saw the one video,
Yeah.
I was staring at that guitar too, thinking to myself, "Man, that's
Yep.
awesome." So, I get to watch these guys record their guitars, and Gibsons are awesome, ESP's awesome, and the guys are endorsed by ESP, which is absolutely tremendous because I know what it means to them to represent companies that they grew up idolizing, right? So, it's pretty amazing. It's really awesome.
I agree. It's like being endorsed not by just any guitar company, ESP specifically, because you're also endorsed by the likes of, they endorsed James Hammond. Sorry.
James Hetfield.
Hetfield. I'm so sorry. I meant to say James Hetfield and Kirk Hammond. Excuse me for that. But yeah, I feel like it's definitely, like you said, a blessing because they're big companies, no?
Yes.
And I also hear, I want to ask you something else, but before I ask you, I hear a lot of wah, like the pedal. I hear a lot of wah in there. I'm assuming Kirk Hammett has to be one of your guys',
Well, that's the thing. The wah that you're hearing is actually the dime wah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The wah from hell.
Yeah.
Now, this is the greatest wah I think that was ever created. So, yeah, they're both. They both
Yeah.
mean something to us
Yeah.
as guitar players. But I actually heard Kirk talking about how that is the greatest wah pedal ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses that all the
It's a fun
time, too.
story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he came out with his own model, signature
Yeah.
model, there was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with that because I already
Yeah.
know
I want to use that one. I wanted to use the dime one.
Yeah.
He uses his own, right? Does he?
No.
Sometimes.
I think he records
knows,
with
right?
the dime.
Yeah, no, because I've seen some shows live and I've been live and I see his signature green one. I know because
Yeah.
I own one and it's like I know what you mean by with the dime one and the Kirk Hammett. I can definitely hear the difference, but yeah, because I hear that
You're
that
hearing
wall.
both of us. We
Yeah.
both have the dime one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a few, and then when I tried Pete's, it was like the range. You can change all the settings. I mean, it's just a perfect why. It has so much bite, so much range. It's awesome.
Packs a
Great
punch,
solos,
packs
You
a
could do a lot with it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No, yeah, it's so I was gonna ask who your influences are, like guitar wise, but I'm pretty sure you answered that. Unless you guys have anyone else.
I mean,
have mine?
let Matt go first, and then
Yeah.
I'll go.
Go for it, Matt. Go for it.
Well, Alex Ilayo, definitely
Okay.
huge influence for me.
Yeah.
I play his guitar. I've been playing it for quite a while. ESP, of course. Well, Metallica, James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett. Like, I must say, like, in my solos, I hear a lot of Kirk Hammett.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
I'm not necessarily trying to,
Yeah.
do what he does, but it always like feel like comes out, and then yeah, I mean it's just so many, Zach Wild, of course,
Definitely, yeah.
and that tone with the wow, also, it's like
Yeah.
very much a big influence. Gojira,
Gojira, yeah.
huge influence, as Pete mentioned, where we with KHDK, and I got the Gojira pedal, which definitely adds bite to your tone, and it's but very unique, very unique band, and very proud of I'm French too, so I'm very
Yeah.
proud of my home guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are just amazing.
Funny story about that. The first time we took Matt to the NAMM convention in Los Angeles, we're walking around, and all of a sudden, standing next to him is the entire band, Gojira. And Matt turns and he looks, he's like, holy. And he starts hanging out with them, speaking French and stuff. That was your first time, right? Or was
I
that the
think so.
second
Yeah,
time?
that was.
I think that might have been your first
I
time.
think I met them in New York. They
Yeah.
played Webster Hall.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
they used to
Awesome.
play
Pretty good venue, yeah.
downstairs, just
Yeah.
small room.
Small
Yeah, we
room,
played
And
that
then,
place too.
yeah, and then they went to the big room. But yeah, Arch Enemy also like huge influence. In Flames. Yeah, many bands, man. So.
I can definitely hear the Gojira. I can definitely hear the other ones too. Pete, what about you?
So for me, it would be they all created me. So I'll
Yep.
just mention them. So definitely Metallica, James
Yep.
and Kirk, right?
James and Kirk,
Dave Mustaine,
Dave Mustaine, yep.
incredible. The father of all of it, Tony Iommi,
Tommy
is
Iommi, Black Sabbath.
extremely important to me.
Yep.
Then you go back to Iron Maiden
Iron
and what they
Maiden,
did.
yeah.
I mean, I will tell you, when I was a kid, they lit the fire.
Yep.
I remember long before you guys were even around.
Yeah.
You youngins here,
Yeah.
but I remember being a kid, me and Jim, and just constantly renting the VHS Live After Death
Okay.
over and over again because we couldn't believe what we were seeing. I also remember sitting in my living room with the record of, Holy Diver,
Okay,
Ronnie James
yep,
Dio's
yep.
Holy Diver, and listening to that whole intro. And anybody just go back and just turn that on,
Yeah, no.
and sit inside of the sounds that are happening even before the music happens. Then Skinnerd, You know,
Yep.
I do love Southern rock, and Skinner really speaks to me as a guitar player. I always say that me and Matt are really great together because we play different styles, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
Matt's a ripper, and I'm more like a muscle
Yeah.
guy, blues,
Yeah, I hear a lot of
Southern rock,
bluesy,
and
yep.
you know, some ripping,
Yep.
but it's you know, the intensities are really awesome between what we do, and yeah, like Thin Lizzy, the
Thin Lizzy,
harmonizing
yep.
in Thin Lizzy. If you listen to ANAKA, there's a lot of harmonizing in there.
I was gonna say that.
And it was really like inspired by Thin Lizzy, you know. And so you bring all of that together and all the stuff that Matt talked about and these guys and their influences, and you have ANAKA. And it just goes back to the seamless transition through all the different types of vibes and genres. And also, I will also say, in my beginnings, Sepultura meant a lot to me too.
Sepultura is
Learning that
legendary.
Awake, Arise album was like incredible to me.
Yeah.
You know, it meant a lot early on to learn everything that I liked, and what I realized was in learning all that stuff obsessively, I learned all these different musical formulas, and it's helped me as a writer all these years. It's all still in there. So when I sit down to write, it's actually very simple to me, you know, because, you know, when you learn all the music that you ever liked as a kid, because I was so obsessive about learning in the beginning that I like, you know, so I learned all these records and, you know, the Megadeth stuff and everything. And then it just was compiled into this database in my brain where I sat down to write, I was like, oh, I could just start this. What if I started this with the chorus like this song does? Or what if this song didn't have any chorus, like Fade to Black by
Fade to
Metallica?
Black, yeah.
That doesn't have a
Doesn't
chorus.
Yep.
You know, so like what happened was I just learned all this music, and then I started realizing very early on that there was words that kept speaking to me when I'd start writing these riffs. When I knew that I had this ability to write these riffs, it awakened the words and the philosophies that I really wanted to write. And it wasn't even something that was thought out. It just really manifested. And it happened because maybe it was just meant to be. Maybe the truth is that a lot of us are just really messengers. Maybe the universe speaks through us. But I will tell you, once I got palm muting down, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Matt? Remember palm muting?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
This is what it sounds like.
Awakening.
Once that happened, then all of a sudden these riffs started to form, man. A lot of them, you know. So like I could go
Basis
back.
for
I get
everything,
so
yeah.
like it's so inspiring to go back and look at that. You know, the way the beginning was and why it was. But yeah, man.
No.
Just all those formulas that happened of songs that now like you hear them in the records, man.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say that I feel like what makes you guys legendary, and I can't say that enough, legendary, is you guys have so many influences. As you said before, you have your Slayer in there. You can hear your Metallica. You can hear a lot of stuff, but you guys put your own twist to it, and that's why I honestly believe you guys are absolutely legendary. Honestly. It's not even just the Oblivion Call, but again, going back to your prior work, amazing, absolutely amazing.
The trick to longevity
Yeah,
is being your own
Own,
competition. So you compete with yourself always, and you try not to let yourself down by letting down everyone else around you. So it's kind of like a marriage, you know, and
Yeah.
being a father. It's like the marriage is the band, and the children are the music.
the music. Yeah.
So you have to care for the marriage, but you also have to provide for the children. So that for us, you know, I know the rest of the guys feel like this, but me and my brother are always, you know, being parents, you know, all of us, you know, besides Jordan, of course, and Jeff over here. But like we have an understanding when it comes, we're like parents to the music. So we want to make sure we provide for it and keep it healthy. So we're lucky to get to basically channel all our influences into our craft. We're lucky to be able to like grown up in the generation that we did, where there was so much, not only musically, but sports. Like we're huge Jordan fans. So like
Yeah.
for us, this is our 6th ring, okay?
Okay.
This is the 6th album. And our motivation was always to not like let down what our heroes would expect from us.
Yep.
So this new album for us, and all the albums, but this one is extra special to me because of what it took to get it to where it is, and we're very, very proud of it, musically, and also the fact that it was born.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, we established a new chemistry with new players in the band.
Like Jordan. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Just that. Like, we had an original force,
Yeah.
you know, and a chemistry with the band that lasted for all those years. And then it was time to move on from that. And then we did that.
Yeah.
It wasn't
And
like
excelled, of course.
It wasn't like we made a record that wasn't as good as the other one. It's as good or maybe even better.
I
you know?
honestly think it like you said, it's an evolution.
It's an evolution.
Yeah. Well, going now to the next song, Blood of the Leviathan, I have a question for you, Jordan. What does this song mean to you? Because I know we spoke about what it meant to you, so please explain to everybody who's listening right now.
It means high tide.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. This was the first natural jam that Pete, Matt, Jimmy, Jerry, and I had in the room. And it really took over just as the groove kept going and going and going. That's what you hear for the first minute and a half was just that natural jam that just all of us were like, whoa. Headbanging all at the same time and just smiling like a bunch of goofballs. But nonetheless, that song really, to me, what it means is the definitive marking or timing, if you will. You know, I am a drummer. Of my beginning in ANAKA, and that to me is, you know, I have it tattooed on my leg, like that name. It means more to me than I think most people get to care about things in their life, you know, besides pretty much family, their, you know, food and job, you know. So I'm beyond proud of this song, and I think it's this is like my absolute baby.
Yeah.
This is like my very first, you know, jam with a band, you know, that's been well established. You know, they're saying like 24, 25 years.
Almost
I'm
25
like
years, yeah.
30 total years old, and that's that's awesome. That like they have accepted me so much just for who I am, how I play, and have pushed me in just a nurturing and musical sense that I couldn't ask for better, bigger brothers or bandmates. So like,
we love you, Jordan.
we love you too.
Yeah. We love you too.
That really is that, JB. That's awesome that you say that. It was, you know, so there was some songs that were kind of there but not finished. There was a couple that were finished, right? But he took the ones that were finished and he added to those. I mean, he established what was there and then added to it. But that song was not around when we first started, and it was, again, it came from riffs from Matt and myself, and then Jordan, and we just started doing the thing. So it is representative of his walking into the band. It really is. In that moment, that is the first, you know, ANAKA song written, and that he only had a part in writing as a drummer. So it was really, really awesome to see that new beginning, that new feel.
It also, like, as a single track, actually expresses what the entire album really is, in my opinion. If you listen, there's a lot of clean, a lot of heavy, and there's elements of death metal. Yeah. What's really cool about Blood of Leviathan is also the fact that it has a lot of different tones to it. It starts off feeling very clean and Black Sabbath-y, and then there's brutality that comes out of the depths of, you know, whatever the feel of it is. The song really captures the sludginess of the new material. There's elements of the groove and sludge, and then super tight, sharp, aggressive playing between the instruments and the drum, the guitars and the drums, and also the bass, because Jerry's tone on this album is absolutely brutal. So it really just encapsulates everything that this new album shows. A lot of classic rock elements and a lot of like modern death metal, which is really cool. And I think it makes all the musicians shine. And
also to the really cool aspect of the song, because you will always remember that when it comes to ANAKA, the lyrics mean a lot.
Yep.
And the song is really incredible in those terms, because it kind of sheds light on the beast within.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of people, they hear it, there's like, okay, it's about a monster in the ocean, you know. Now it's something from the depths. It might be within
It's
you.
not actually the ocean.
You know,
It's
it
like,
could be,
Yeah.
but it's
the way I envision what it truly is, because the concept of
the piece.
you know the lyric that I added, like you're still stained, means you
yeah.
carry it with you forever. Like it's like, you know, deep inside of you, there's like probably no matter what you try to do to get rid of it, you know, for the rest of your life, you'll carry probably elements of that with you, which, you know, I've always perceived that concept of the individual carrying the darkest part of themselves, and you're still stained, repeating, it keeps telling you, no matter what you do, you're always going to be stained by this, you know,
it's so powerful,
which is
man.
absolutely badass, and I'm very happy I get to do that part. But yeah, there's more depth. We don't write stuff that's cliche and cheesy. The material that we've always written, and Pete's lyrics that he's written, and whatever I've contributed over the years lyrically, it always comes to like cultivate into this very positive, self-empowering message. But it's also something about
Enduring.
understanding we must endure as human beings through the challenges we face, which is also expressed through the darkest parts of us. You know, you're still stained, right? The blood of Leviathan is something you have in you. That's your blood.
Yep.
Okay, so that's how I perceive it, and the tone I'm pretty sure all of us understand to be, as opposed to some, you know, monster in the ocean. There's a monster in our ocean inside of us, right?
Yeah. You want to say something, Jordan?
All I was gonna say was just the song's lyrics really hit me, especially with the stained part. But it really kind of it's a very, very, very broad spectrum kind of, here's a taste of every part of the album, from clean tones to aggressive drumming to shredding guitars to screaming to beautiful singing to harmonies to absolute chaos.
Yeah.
To right back, and that ending, just every time we play it live too, it's like a vacuum in the room. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got
And
that.
it
It's got that tight precision, and the song just ends on a dime.
Yeah. I feel like it's not. Listening to it, like obviously like on your phone, or, you know, listening to it right now. It's like, okay, yeah, it's nice, but once you actually experience it live, blown away.
Yeah,
Blown away.
we're a live band.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing that's guaranteed with us, is like, we're a live band. You know, you can go to a rock show and see a band and have a great album, and like, oh, I love this album, and you go watch them live, you're like, oh man, they really use a lot of backing tracks.
Yeah.
We don't do that stuff.
No,
you know,
yeah.
we are.
I can
They
vouch
are
for that.
instruments, you know, and we go and we play, and the song comes out the way that we envisioned it when we recorded it, and that's, you know, what we are, is a live band. And the sound you get from the album, you listen to the albums and you know that, you know, it's coming from the mentality of crafting our sound over years of playing live, you know. So like, you could throw on Blood of Leviathan right now and you'll hear us playing it live, basically.
Do it.
You just heard Blood of Leviathan. You're tuning into The Aggressive Edge, and we're back here with ANAKA.
Super aggressive edge.
Super
The
aggressive
edge is
edge.
very
ANAKA aggressive edge.
ANAKA aggressive edge, yes, sir. Now, I have a question for Jeff.
Hello.
We spoke about the guitarist's influences. I said I see a lot of Cliff Burton in you, and
Once
I
again,
very
thank
much
you.
do. And I'm assuming Cliff Burton is one of your influences.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Is
He
there
is.
anyone else?
Jason Newsted.
Okay.
It's funny. Victor Wooten, Marcus Miller are definitely two of my favorites. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I love the Flea.
Okay,
I love,
Flea, yep.
John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones. Yeah.
As far as bass players, I really love them. But as far as bands, like I really focus more on bands that really inspired me, because I approach anything I do not just as, okay, what can the bass do? How does it work? But overall, what does the song need? And you have to understand what the song is before anything. Like, and I just go back to like Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Children of Bodom.
Yep.
There's a lot.
Yeah, man. I feel like
We also like Uncle Pecos.
Yeah, Uncle Pecos, Tom and Jerry riffing.
I feel like bass players don't get too much recognition, and that's really, really unfair and stupid in my opinion, because you can't have a band without a really good bass player, and this is a really good example of that. You bring a lot to the table, not only like in like listening to it right now, but listening to you live and seeing like how you play live, headbanging, going absolutely mad on
He's
that
killing,
bass.
man.
He's going crazy on the bass. I saw you and I was like, I need to take a video of this dude headbanging.
You should. He's
Going, and I
awesome.
did. I got it. I was like, this dude is absolutely legendary. I applaud you for that. Now, you guys are from New York, rep the New York, Brooklyn to be specific. Back then, how was the scene like? How was it like? How was ANAKA like back then to now? How was
Playing the Lemore's Brooklyn, playing Don Hills in the city, playing Continental, CBGBs. We've been around for a long time. We got to play all these great historic venues, and when the Lemore, if you're familiar with it, when Lemore's closed, we were actually interviewed by the New York Times.
okay?
And the reporter calls me up, and I had a full-blown conversation with this guy for like 2 hours. And then I read the article, and I'm quoted, and I basically wrote his entire article for him. So, author, I hope you enjoyed my work for you. But that was pretty awesome. But yeah, Brooklyn, like born and raised in Brooklyn, like Brooklyn's a little different now, but growing up it was a little bit more like a little more badass, I think. But I think it instilled in us, my brother and I, from a young age. I remember being a little kid and following my brother around and going to, like, there was a guitar store on 77th Street and 5th Avenue in Bay Ridge. And my brother would, like, take me in there, and we'd look at the guitars. There would be guitars hanging from the window, and there'd be guitar picks all over Bay Ridge. Like, you'd walk down the street, and literally you see guitar picks, and my brother would pick it up. Look, a guitar pick. And, like, he'd pick it up and look at it, and we'd be inspired by it, and he'd just stare at it, go, someone plays the guitar with this, and he'd show it to me. And you'd see, like, long-hairs walking around, metalheads with, like, Slayer T-shirts in the early 80s. And they were everywhere. You know, there were, like, metal T-shirt stores in Bay Ridge. There were, like, there was Record Factory on 86th Street in Bay Ridge. And we would go in there, buy tapes, and get import stuff and, like, see shirts hanging. And the cool thing about that is we have not forgotten any of the feelings we had from that.
That's good.
So, like, every time we record anything and every time we do something live, and every time we do a band picture or an interview like we're doing with you, we remember that and we say, let's not let down our heroes. Let's kill right now.
It's
so
cool in
all
way
of that
too.
makes a big difference to every kid, right?
When you look back at it, we started at a time where we got in on it and we played CBGBs and Lemore's and all that stuff just before those historic venues kind of closed out, just before it. So we got in on the tail end of all that history. And we played. There's a place, I think, in the Hard Rock in Miami, Florida, where somebody sent us like a piece of the wall of
CBGB's wall,
CBGBs, right? And there's an ANAKA sticker on it from all the way back
from
then.
Manhattan. Like when we played there, we had played showcases for major labels and stuff, and like you would see on the wall, like, there'd be ANAKA stickers littering these venues, right, in Manhattan. So we received one of our ANAKA Army, one of our fan base out there sends us something, and it's literally the wall behind glass in Florida.
Yeah.
And he shows a picture of the ANAKA sticker up on the wall, like from CBGB's, from the back room, just destroyed.
They
old
had just
wall.
taken down one of the walls, and it's hanging like in Miami.
Yeah,
in the
wherever there are
Rock
Hard Rocks, you'll find like a CBGB's wall.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Which is like, once again, proving our existence has been something that's like existed for a long time, and like that little taste of ANAKA still being on that CB's wall, it's kind of symbolic of us. We're never gonna go away.
Yeah, no, as I stated, legendary. You guys have definitely put your mark on your music, with your music, excuse me, and it's been something that not only I have enjoyed, but obviously people from all over. I'm not assuming only the country, but all over the world can definitely enjoy and will enjoy. Next up, we have the title track, "The Oblivion Call." Can someone tell me what is this? What does this mean to you guys? Again?
The idea of the name.
Yes.
So it's open to interpretation by fans, but I will say that the Oblivion Call is your reaction, what you do when the worst happens.
Okay.
When everything has fallen,
Hits the
and
fan. Yeah.
when the greatest challenges in your life are literally when the universe just turns around and says, "Hey, you, I've been looking for you," you know? The Oblivion Call is about answering, or what happens? You get taken under by the moment? Do you stand up to it? Are there other days after it for you? That's what the Oblivion Call is all about. And the crazy thing is as much as art imitates life, there was a lot of challenges in creating this record through COVID and all these things.
Yeah.
And the story that really happened to like really all of us in many different ways, whether it be health-wise, people, loved ones' health and all of that. There is a challenging story that happened, and we did persevere, and today we stand tall. But in a sense, that title is so powerful because we did get out on the other side of our own Oblivion Call. So that's really what the title track is about. It's just what you do when the worst happens.
And even the album cover art is like symbolic of that. If you really pay attention, it's like standing against whatever what could be your demise and being strong enough to stand up against it alone. That's once again a big theme of the band has always been self-empowerment. We see challenges as opportunities, and we're very proud of the way that we all got through that stretch of the COVID years, and we came out, with a gem. The record we're very proud of. Yeah.
Man, I feel inspired now.
That's what it's about, man. Even live, you see us live, we're all like, it's like you can see the happiness in it. It's like a ball of aggressive energy, but it's basically happiness. We're yanking up children on the stage. They should enjoy it so they can. We want to also inspire young generations to pick up instruments, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't play musical instruments, but I sing.
Your voice is an instrument.
And we all work. Yeah, it's an instrument. It's fun once again to do this, But like I say this at every show we play. I'll say it to the audience, music unites. And I want parents to buy their kids instruments to keep music alive, Yep. Digital music is one thing, cool, do it. But like there's something different about bending the strings and letting people just like release the beast from inside, man. It's different. I will tell you, the years that we didn't play because of COVID was killing me, man. I was depressed. Yep. I was moping around. And us getting back and playing, it took us a little time to get the swag back. But when I got it back, I was like, oh, thank God. I'm getting my superpowers back, the ability for us to play music together. If I don't get to play music with my bandmates and hear them and smile and talk and make jokes and just basically locker room humor, it's like you lose a huge chunk of yourself, man. It's something that's so important, So Oblivion Call represents all of that.
I can definitely see it. It's like with COVID. Let me bring that up. It feels like you guys definitely went through a lot, and you guys have definitely gone from one side to the better side. Not only because you guys released this wonderful album, but because you guys are still together as a collective. So what, like 24, 20, almost 25 years?
Yeah. 25 in February.
Yeah, 25 in February. I'm just blown away. Well, here is the Oblivion Call, only on 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University.
Endings
just heard The Oblivion Call, the title track of ANAKA's newest album, who I happen to be here with. Again, hello.
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 Hey, what's up?
Hello there.
Long Island, yep. Well, you can hear us from Queens. Yeah, I feel like you can hear us from...
Well, you know, I mean, we're from Brooklyn, so we're
Yeah.
actually part of Long Island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see that? We're all Long Islanders at heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean... I am now a Long Islander personally. I have been around Brooklyn a lot. I actually have to go there after this, but
So do we.
yeah. But I have a question for Pete now. As a big wrestling fan, I saw that you were friends with the Ultimate Warrior himself.
My brother.
Yeah, once I saw the video of you and him, I'm pretty sure it was at a convention. You were like, I forgot what you called him. I don't know his real name, but he was like, oh, Pete, my brother. Yeah, he was like, Pete, my brother. Nice to see you. And I was like, this dude knew the Ultimate Warrior, and it looks like you guys had a really good relationship. Not only like, oh yeah, like I know this guy, like he's some dude that plays in a band, but it was like an intimate friendship.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be friends with the Ultimate Warrior?
So he was my childhood hero when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, all the warrior photos in my room.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you go back then and you find all the photos in my room, and I saw Warrior many times at Madison Square Garden. Me and Jimmy went and saw him body slam Andre the Giant in Madison Square Garden and face the Undertaker. So yeah, I met him. I talked to him on the internet, and I met him at a signing once. I went to visit him in a signing, and you know, he knew who I was automatically when I came to the line because we had talked before, and we talked a little bit at the signing. As he was finished, I kind of walked out of the building because, you know, I was done there. And as I was walking around the block, we literally walked right back into each other before he got into the limo to leave, and we talked for a long time. You know, at that time in my life, you know, my fiance was pregnant with our first daughter, and we had just moved into a new apartment, and my life was changing in so many different ways, and we kind of talked about that. He's a girl dad, and he just became really good friends. He told me to send the music to his office, and we just became brothers, man. You know, he was a mentor of mine and a great friend. He eventually asked us to do the Ultimate Return theme music for one of his final match in Spain. I was invited by him to the Hall of Fame. I went to New Orleans and did that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, throughout for a good 13, 14 years, I had him to bounce ideas off of, to hear how proud he was while he watched us do what we did. I mean, an absolutely incredible person when he trusted you. So the signing or the conference that you saw us at, I would always go to them because I'd kind of watch his back. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't. I mean, he was friendly with a lot of the guys, but also there was beef there when it came to the whole wrestling thing. So I would always go to him. But I was still a kid, and he would always make him laugh. I still had to get all the stuff signed. You know, even though, you know, we're going to talk for 4 hours after the event, I still was that kid in a lot of ways. And you know, it made him smile and it made him laugh, but it also showed him how trustworthy I was. And we really had an awesome friendship, man. If you go back and you listen to from the Unwavering, the Father Time trilogy, there's a tribute there where Warrior recites Emerson at the end of the song. And that was really me just trying to find some closure with the loss, because it was a tremendous,
I would imagine,
tremendous loss in my life to like grow up, you know, meet your childhood hero, and then find out that he's a caring person who wants to know about your life, your kids, and everything. I mean, we were such good friends. It was, you know, I miss him every day, but at the same time, I learned so much from the gift of that friendship. It's like a little kid walking out onto a basketball court and running into Michael Jordan, you know, and then being buddies, you know. It really did happen that way. It was awesome. And, man, he's with us all the time. He really is.
He is definitely
he's in the music, man. So he inspired us. He inspired millions of people in the early 80s and in the 90s, and he continues to inspire
Yeah.
people who are into wrestling, I'm sure, like you are.
Oh, that big wrestling fan, avid wrestling
But
fan.
yeah, man, he was a powerhouse.
Yeah, I know.
He was awesome.
Rest in peace, the Ultimate Warrior.
Rest in
Definitely,
peace.
rest in peace. I asked that because yes, I am a avid wrestling fan, but I definitely seen just by the videos, I saw how much he meant to you,
Yeah.
and it looks like you meant a lot to him as well.
Yeah, it was
it's
cool, man.
it's not just like, oh yeah, like this dude, like I said, this dude from a band. No, it's like you guys had an actual like friendship, you know, and I find that absolutely badass.
Yeah, he was incredible with my
Yeah.
kids and stuff.
Yeah.
When he'd call the house, you know, the wife, my wife Olga would always get a kick out of it because it sounded like the Ultimate
The
Warrior
Warrior.
promo
Yeah,
on television because
television,
of how
yeah.
big his voice was,
Yeah.
you know. You asked what his name is. His name was James.
James.
But he, you know, I guess for business reasons, he changed his name to Warrior
Yep.
because he had all those issues with,
Yeah,
with the company, and
yeah.
he wanted to still be able to work
Yeah.
because it was his creation. So out of respect to him, I called him Warrior, or I called him W, you
That
know,
was-
out of respect to the fact that he
really nice.
changed, that was his name, and that's what I did. But man, was he was, like I said, just an inspirational person. Yeah, he was a hard-nosed person who had a code. And there should be more people who have codes.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
It's great.
No,
Absolutely.
so like I said, rest in peace, the Ultimate Warrior. He was not only a legend in the wrestling industry, but obviously to everyone here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now we have the Fray Redemption Hill. I'm gonna ask Matt, what does this mean to you? Because the guitars pack a punch here a lot. I want to know what does this song mean to you?
Well, there's actually two songs that I'd like to talk about here. Is this
Go for it.
one, The Fray, and Nexus, the last song on the album.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the
These
Nexus.
are
We're gonna
the
play that one next.
these are two songs that myself and Jordan jammed a lot on before getting to the studio, and I mean each album that we and this is my second album with ANAKA, but I think for on each album you really want to surpass yourself. You really
Yeah.
want to push your limits. I had those two songs that I think I had a pretty clear idea of where I wanted to go with, but at the same time I wanted to push myself, and I wanted to take Jordan with me.
Jordan, enjoy the ride.
He had just joined the band. We really started getting close together. We locked in on Gojira. I think we talked a lot about
So
Gojira.
much fun.
And I don't know. We just started jamming on the song. I was telling him where I wanted to go with them, but at the same time, you know, Jordan. I mean, I trust him. You know, it's like it was already like, you know, we talked about Blood of Leviathan, one of the first jam really we all had together, and it's amazing. I mean, Pete had just found this guy. We had one practice, and the chemistry was there. I mean, you know, it can take years, and
To find
it's the
someone,
rarest of
yeah.
things, right? To
Yeah.
have, and it's the most important thing also. You know, when you record an album or just trying to come up with songs and having that chemistry right off the bat like that was something that was quite amazing. And so we started jamming on these songs, and actually, once we went to the studio, they were not fully written, as I recall, and Nexus was actually the last song that we also recording during that 4-day drumming session. And when Jordan says that he almost lost a finger, that's not that
It's not
actually
exaggeration.
happened,
That
right?
actually almost happened.
It's like
Blood. There was blood
There was-
of Leviathan
there was
everywhere.
blood all over the drum kit, blood all
Taping
over
my
the
finger
snare
up.
to the point where it was getting ridiculous. Like, when are we gonna stop? Right? It was like almost, I mean, past midnight probably on the.
Jerry's
on the-
like, I'll buy you a new one. You do another take.
and we were like, you know, takes after takes after takes, like faster. You know, it's like pushing yourself, you know, pushing the limits, and really, you know, it's when you're in the studio, you record something, it's once it's done, it's done. It's gonna be there for life. You wanna, you have to reach the point where it's like there's no turning back, right? It has to be perfect. It has to be exactly the way you want it, because otherwise it's, you're gonna hate yourself, or you never be able to listen to
The red
song.
light.
Yeah, exactly.
The red light is real, man.
And I think these two songs here were about really like pushing the limits and locking in all together, and getting those two monsters out, and making sure they sound the way they're supposed to be. And these are two of my favorite songs on the album, and I really hope you guys dig them.
They will definitely will take it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I have one last question for all of you before we end this night on a very high note. What is next for ANAKA? What is next for ANAKA? You guys finished this beautiful, amazing album. I know you guys are going to keep playing amazing shows, because why stop? But what is next for ANAKA?
There's a lot of building going on right now. So it's like what we're doing right now, the focus is what we're doing with you. Just getting the Oblivion call out to everybody, So we've been doing a lot of the press that comes with that. Along with that will come eventually music videos and all the things that have to happen.
Those are going to be really
now.
nice.
But of course we do it at, our own speed. And now, we are aimed towards the historic Gramercy Theater for Saturday, July the 27th. But during this whole time, it's really just about promotion of the record and getting it out there. The record is top 5.
Yeah,
As it should be.
on radio charts and climbing.
On heavy
5
charts,
right
it's
now.
it's top 5 and climbing.
Climbing, yeah.
I put it on number 1 when I have to chart.
Yeah, brother.
Because I'm like,
Spin
Which
the
is
hell
an
out of it.
achievement, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's also about us getting it.
yeah.
Again, it's about doing the work.
The work,
This
yeah.
doesn't happen just by itself.
Yeah.
So what's next is the continuous promotion of the record, doing all the press for it, doing some music videos for it, playing the shows as they come in, and then we start thinking about, as always, creating more music.
music,
What's next is always moving forward. That's always
what it
what's
should
next
be.
for us.
Yes, sir. That's what it should be.
So it's always about moving forward, and it's always about sharing the stage with Jeff, Matt, Jim, and Jordan. And again, like, this is something that I always stress with the guys, because we've done this for so long, especially Jimmy and I. There's an idea sometimes that it's just something that is given, that it's every day in your life, and that, hey, you just get to do this awesome thing. And I always say this to the guys when we go out on stage, make sure that you take it in and you appreciate it, because this is not a given, just like every day is not a given. It is something that was built and created with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of sweat, and even blood, like we're talking about with Jordan.
Long nights and
a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
But no, really, and the idea is that we're thankful for like our supporters and the people that come to our shows, because they make it happen. We're thankful for like each other and the path. And we mentioned people today that are no longer with us. Well, we carry them on our shoulders as we move forward. They are with us. So like, really, Jordan always says this: drum life, music is life. It really is, man.
Tattooed on my neck.
Yeah, and music is life, and it's a part of our families. Matt has his son. I have my 2 girls. Jimmy has his little boy and his little girl. But we also have all the people in this band, and we have the music. And
And you
Jordan
have
hugs
us.
the album every day.
Yeah.
But it's incredible, man, and it's ever growing. And next is let's get to 30 years, and then beyond that,
Yeah.
let's see if we could go play in another dimension, like we mentioned
Yeah,
at the
that's
beginning.
awesome.
That's from where you guys are from.
I think what's really cool, and I think this is just from a fan's perspective, because I'm coming in from a unique perspective, going from fan to band member, is that with ANAKA, you don't know what to expect. if you think you know what's gonna happen with ANAKA,
You don't.
you never do.
Yeah.
Because like you can look at from the whole catalog. When you think you know exactly what you're gonna get, ANAKA always releases something that always goes left or goes right. You didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Like when I heard the first 2 albums, I was like, okay, I dig this. And then they come out with Great Unknown and all the way up to today. It's absolutely mind blowing. And in my opinion, it's 25 years. I feel it's just like a warm up because ANAKA is just going to become such a massive beast going into the next 25 years. And I'm just so excited to see what happens from there.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thanks,
Please
bro.
do
Sky's the
not
limit,
stop.
man.
Do not stop. Continue putting out amazing music. Continue headbanging what you guys do together. Continue blasting those amazing guitar tones and bass tones and playing like Joey Jordison and Cliff Burton like we have here. And those amazing vocals as well. I
Thanks,
haven't given you praise, but I have to give you praise for those amazing
That's
vocals.
cool, man.
Those
Yeah.
screams, those everything.
Thanks, bro. I think the most important thing I will always say, I said this earlier, no limitations, man.
Yes.
You know, like I was telling Jordan, we have these conversations all the time about drumming and instruments. Like, if you're playing an instrument and you think you've mastered it, you really haven't, because you really need to start thinking about all the different avenues you can utilize your voice or the drum or the guitar. There's so many genres you can blend together and make music more interesting. And I've always loved that, man. I used to listen to Boyz II Men when I was a kid. Now I get to do vocal harmonies, and like I still listen to that stuff, man. I'll put on my headphones and just listen to the voices,
The harmonies.
It's all about just trying to outdo yourself to compete with yourself. And I tell my kids this all the time. Don't compete with the people around you. Compete with yourself, because you'll always, at the end of the day, win. If you outdo yourself, no matter what you do, you focus on your craft and you try to beat yourself out every time, you're always going to win, right? So I think we've always been that as a band. I mean, we're competitive people. Our hero is Michael Jordan, an Ultimate Warrior, for God's sakes. But for us, it's always about, I want to make sure that I do the best, not only for myself, but for my bandmates and for ultimately later on the audience, whoever's listening to the material. Matt made this comment. This is something I told Jordan before when he was recording. It was like Jerry was pounding him down. Record, do it again, good, do it again, good, do it again. And I said to him, I said, trust me, he's doing you a favor. I said, because just stay calm and remember, this is fun. Because at the end of the day, when you're like 100 years old in your deathbed, you'll listen to it and you'll say, man, I should have just gave it one more take. I hate that drum roll, right? But see, like, that's the thing, you hear something later on and you regret it. So you have to give everything you have in your mind, soul, and body to make sure you don't have those doubts. So, Jordan, you don't have any doubts, do you?
No. Other than like just be aware of sea monsters. Like those are still a danger. But like I don't have any doubts when it comes to like actually believing in the artistry that is based on the chemistry in this band, where one fights for the one next to each other, not for themselves, and that's where everyone shines in the middle.
Well, I agree with everything you guys have said so far. Yep.
I'll say this, right? When I go back and I think about what we've done, right? So I'll go back to Down Devil's Road, and when I started noticing that people were taking the record and they were playing it, people in Greece started playing it, and then people near us started playing. I was like, would tell Jim, I was like, wow, man, there's something here. And then we did the Rust and Jade record, right? And with the Rust and Jade album, we released a music video that went to Music Choice, Video on Demand. It got picked up by MTV, online, and really started to grow. And we're like, well, man, it's on television now. This is incredible. So then we really focused in, and we did the Glorified Crusade record. And that's when everything changed for the band, because we released Erase, and Erase was like huge for us. Erase was on MTV, it was on Music Choice, it was even on VH1. But when it was on MTV, it went to number 1 on MTV Online, meaning people were listening to it so much that it was surpassing, like,
Justin Bieber.
excuse me. It was surpassing everybody. So it got to the point that just like even walking in Manhattan, people would stop you. Oh, Erase, Rust and Jade, stuff like that. I remember a guy was from Argentina, and he stopped me in the street to talk because he just got here from Argentina, and he saw Erase and Rust and Jade on TV there. So the idea is, you start this thing in Brooklyn, New York, and you don't know
where it goes,
where it's going to go. But if you're real about it, and it means so much to you, people know, man. People feel it, and they feel how real it is, and they want to do the same thing. They want to take it further, and when you do this thing correctly, the music and the people speak for you, and that's what ANAKA is. You know, it's like all these amazing people coming together because of a band that they love. And these people in the room, you know, create that. Every one of us, man, we are equally as important to each other, you know? And because of that, people understand it, the fans understand it. And this ANAKA Army thing I'm always talking about is ever growing. And that's where we're at. So when you ask where are we headed, it's just continuous. We're marching forward, you know?
Yeah, like you fight for what you love, right? And you're motivated by the things you love, right? So what better way of expressing that through music, right? And we're all lucky to have it, you know. I remember I used to like run it kind of early on, and things were really popping, things were working. And I remember when I first started, you know, everybody had their instruments, and I was standing there holding a microphone, and I never sang, besides like randomly, I never really sang in front of a room full of people. But I remember that, and then you saw what you had at the Stereo Garden show, and you know, like you experienced it. It's like I'm the same guy, but not really, because music gave me the gift to evolve not only as a musician, but also as a confident grown man, where I know how, like, who I am and where my calling is in life. You know, music and family, and they all work together as one, and we're lucky to have it. Every album we've put out, I felt like I was a better person after the experience. This one, I think, because of all we went through, I think it's actually on another plateau. It really made me understand how important music is to me. And I want to thank all the guys for being so awesome at their craft and giving me the opportunity to just express what I have inside of me through the music they create in front of me. You know, we all craft it, but live, I'm not playing any of those instruments. All these awesome musicians are. So I love you guys. I really appreciate everything you give me, and I hope you guys enjoy the same thing.
Well, thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come not only speak to me, but speak to your fans.
That's right. We love all you guys.
Yeah.
We love you too, dude.
Well,
Love you, fans.
Yeah, thank you.
And
We love you too.
Hofstra.
Well, what I'm gonna leave you guys with is stream the Oblivion Call. Keep playing it. I will definitely do it. Yes, do it.
Spin it all.
I will keep spinning it here.
Perpetually.
Yes, but everyone at home and everywhere, wherever you're listening to, play it, listen to it, stream it, use it for workout music. Great workout music. It is amazing.
Yeah,
And
you can find us at anaka.net, and you can find us on Instagram. Pete, do you have all that information?
Are you going to put it on me?
Well, if you
find
go
on
on the
Spotify.
website, you'll find all
No, just go to
everything.
anaka.net. It's all
Yeah,
there.
it's on
Also,
Spotify
for
everywhere.
everybody who's listening, every single one who's listening, definitely go on our Spotify and follow us there. Pandora, iHeartRadio. We're on all of it.
Everywhere.
Go to iTunes and
Everywhere.
buy the album. Go
Yeah.
follow us on Instagram. Go stalk all
And
of
on
us.
FM radio.
Yes.
and on FM radio.
FM Rock
Yeah.
Radio, number 5 and climbing, man. And let me tell you, headlining show Saturday, July 27th. That's going to be my birthday show. So I want you to be there,
I will
bro.
be there.
I want
will
you to be there.
I will be
Gramercy Theater and Live Nation have always been absolutely awesome to ANAKA over the years. And you know, we love the company for giving us all the support and believing in us as many times as it has over the last 25 years. And Gramercy Theater is very important to us. It added another dimension to us. It made us into like large room monsters, and we go out there and we
Yeah.
kill for them. So I hope everybody comes out, and I'll see you there, bro.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
So you heard it yourself. Do not miss it out. Go to, what is it, July 27th, Gramercy Theater.
Saturday, July 27th.
Saturday, July 27th.
At the historic
At the
Gramercy
historic
Theater.
Gramercy
July
Theater.
27th.
Again, July 27th.
With the mighty ANAKA Army.
The mighty ANAKA Army. Well, again, July
Behold.
27th. Again, thank all of you. Thank all of you.
Thank
to,
you, Chris.
You.
Thank you, man.
And,
Thanks a lot,
yeah,
man.
Thanks to Hopkins, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so
no,
much. Thank you,
Chris.
Long Island. We love you.
of course. Yeah, well, thank you, Brooklyn. Birthing you guys. Well, here we have the Frey Redemption Hill, and after we have the
Beyond the Nexus.
Beyond the Nexus. Sorry for that. Beyond the Nexus. Only on 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University.
just past the center's gate.